It's the Sunday show. It's the Sunday show. Here we are, everyone, for the Sunday show. I'm tap dancing right now. It's on carpet, though, so you can't really hear it. You can't hear, like, the sweet moves I'm making. What's that move called where you, like what Blossom does on the piano, where you, like, both your feet go out like this?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Did you ever watch Blossom?
Did you just do like a shot of quadruple espresso 5 seconds before you turned?
Didn't you
on the camera?
Did you ever watch Blossom? Remember she did a whole little dance routine?
I did watch Blossom, but no,
okay,
I don't remember a show from 25 years ago in detail.
It was the same opening every episode.
It was 25 years ago. I'm
sorry, I
old.
forgot that you were super old and senile. Jeez. I bet people in the chat remember, okay? But somebody who knows tap dancing, there's got to be like a word for that move where you like kick out both your feet at the same time. That's basically what I did sitting down, so I'm pretty impressive. So
it's like she just started off a Saturday morning cartoon show.
Yeah, see, Kelly says that Blossom did like it was like a vaudeville act kind of thing, but she was like tap dancing, and she had like her little leotard thing on, and like her little suit jacket, like with tails or whatever. Oh, I'm sorry. Am I too much for you right now?
I think you're too much for everybody right now.
Okay, let's take a vote in the chat.
We don't need a vote in the chat. We just started the damn show. Relax.
Yeah, we want to vote. I demand a vote.
Oh, sweet baby.
People in the chat, tell me if I need to leave. Oh,
sorry.
Okay. All right. Anyway, what is happening, everybody? It's Sunday, so it's our Sunday Live haul. We did not have a show last week because you abandoned me and you went to the East Coast. You thought you were real super cool, and you left me at home to languish in my own filth. And I couldn't pull myself together to do a show, basically. I was so depressed.
Could not shower. Yeah, she was not presentable, folks, apparently.
Well, Vikki did give me a lot of crap about our water bill going up, so I'm trying to do my part, and so that means less showering. You can't have it both ways, okay?
I can't win. Guys, help.
It's true. All right, Victoria Smith says that you are super cool, and that is what apparently she would like to take the vote on.
I know, I'm aware.
How about a little humility for the public who is going to be voting on you? Jeez.
It's 50 degrees over there on the East Coast. Yeah, thanks. It's because I left. You're welcome. You're welcome.
I was going to say that sounds really cold because it's like 70 here, but I guess that's actually pretty nice.
It was 10 degrees for a couple of the days when I was there, like between 10 and 30. It was it was rough.
Yeah, well, it's like when we had all the bossy posse reselling ladies visiting here. It went from being like the first couple of days that like Debbie was here, it was like in the mid 70s, and then it literally dropped to like 20 degrees one night. I don't know what was happening. Some crazy weather, guys.
I think it's like when people from cold weather climates come to the places where it's supposed to be warm, they ruin it.
I think that's a scientific fact.
I think it is.
I think that's scientifically
that's
factual.
What happens. Yep.
Anyway.
Yeah, 50 degrees. Mel the Sports Gal says 50 degrees is shorts weather. It is on the East Coast. Let me tell you. My sister-in-law just posted a picture of she's at the park with my niece and my nephew for the day because it's about 50-something in Rhode Island, Connecticut right now. And it's sunny and the kids need to get out of the house, right? So run around because it's nice out. And they've been cooped up because it's been cold and wet and gross. And so she's like, I think it's about 4 kids per square foot in this park today. There's so many kids.
That's too much. That's too many. I went to grad school in New York City, and I remember that when it would hit, it was probably about 60 is when I would feel like, okay, now I can wear a t-shirt because I would ride my bicycle everywhere. And so you got like wind and stuff. And man, it felt so good when I finally got to just go with my t-shirt and cruise on down the road.
That's the spring. I'm telling you, as soon as spring hits on the East Coast or the Midwest where it's normally cold in the winter, winters are long. So as soon as it feels like spring, people are like windows open, convertibles, it's like shorts, t-shirts. We got to go outside and do outside stuff for sure.
Let's answer Vinny's question real quick. He wants to know
Vinny Bots. I love that name. First of all, it's pretty funny.
He wants to know how we do our shipping. Do we buy our own boxes? Everybody has their own way of doing things. Because of what I sell, all men's clothing, almost everything I sell can go in a poly mailer. And because I have like 2,300 listings on eBay, I do have an anchor store, which means I get $150 in shipping credit, shipping supplies credit every quarter. So honestly, I don't have to buy my own shipping supplies. I'm completely covered for all my poly mailers just from those coupons. Now for you, you do have to use a lot of boxes.
I do use a lot of boxes. When it's priority, of course, I use the free priority boxes. But when it's not priority, I'm going to use, like if I'm using something that's going under, under a pound, or it's going FedEx, I'm going to use my eBay boxes. And I also am a big Amazon shopper, so I use my free Amazon boxes. I recycle Amazon. Yes, I'm going to send eBay stuff in an Amazon box. Yes, I'm going to use my eBay tape to send something to Poshmark. I don't care.
How often?
And neither do my customers, let me tell you. None of them have ever cared.
How often do you find that you have to actually go buy a box?
Not very often.
Like maybe once, twice a year?
Yeah, a couple times a year, maybe.
Yeah, and the other thing is, like, usually, like, once people that know about what you are doing for a living or that you're reselling, you can always put the word out and be like, hey, if you have, can you save your boxes? Like, I know Vikki has a few friends who shop a lot on Amazon, and they'll actually
I buy bubble wrap, but that's probably the only thing that I really purchase as a supply.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so it's our Sunday show. We're back after a week's hiatus. Or I guess
we're back.
2 weeks. We're back. It's going to be an interesting show because I barely have anything to show because I really didn't source this week, which I'll get into later. But we break the show up into 3 parts. I think I need to start time stamping in the description down below, like, because when the different sections start, just so if there's anyone who only cares about the haul, they can just skip ahead.
Because we do get complaints because we talk too much. So
sorry,
we are not the show for you if you do not like the chit chat.
Yeah,
sorry.
So the first part of our show, we go over our real numbers for the last week, or as real as we can get, and we break down what our gross sales were, what most of our costs were, including the cost of goods, which we both agree that that's probably the most important part of kind of getting a feel for what somebody actually makes. If it's just a big pile of packages that they shipped out in one day, doesn't really tell you anything if you don't know what they actually paid for the items that they sold. Same goes for when people show you their 60-day, now 90-day screenshot of their eBay app. It's like, yay, you got $70,000 in the last 90 days, but how much money did that cost you? So we like to kind of break it down.
Right. I mean, you can figure out for the most part, what fees are, whether it's whatever platform you're on, the fees are pretty much what they are. And as long we just try to tell you our cost of goods so that you realize what the shipping, and our shipping, so that you can figure out a rough idea of what our net profit is.
Yeah,
and that's, of course, that's before your overhead, before, I do pay an assistant or two, very little, but it's what happens. It's, you've got a general idea of what we're making. We're not selling something for $100 that cost us $90 to sell.
Yeah. So here's my challenge to you guys. When you see those posts where somebody posts their humongous pile of stuff, or they post their numbers, if they don't say anything about what their cost of goods were or what their margins are, maybe ask them, because I think it's fair. I think
it's a fair question to ask. It's not that anybody owes you that explanation. They certainly don't. But I think it's a fair question to ask. I think, it's also, you hear a lot and you see a lot when people make those posts in groups or on Instagram or what have you. What you see a lot is, what do you sell? What do you sell is an important question, but I think more important question is, what did it cost? What are your cost of goods?
I think that it is a fair question, particularly for the screenshots of their numbers, because that almost always is a flex to a certain degree, a little bit of tooting their own horn, which I completely appreciate. And I don't think everybody's doing it to mislead anyone. But I do think, because it gets people really excited, sometimes it discourages people if they're struggling. I think it's a fair question to say, hey, what are your margins? What kind of, what net are you getting out of that? I think it's a fair question.
I think it is too.
And I think if they're going to post it, I do kind of feel like there's a certain obligation to be open about that, in my opinion. In my opinion. Okay, so we'll do our numbers, then we show the highlights of things that we sold over the last week, and then the last part is we go into our haul, things that we picked up in the last week that we are going to be probably listing within the next week or so. So do we want to jump right into it?
Yeah, we do.
10 minutes later.
I know.
All right, so we're going to look at my numbers first, because let's just say we're back to true form. Vikki is kicking my pants, this last week when it comes to numbers. So we're going to start with mine so that I can, look like I'm okay for a little bit. Anyway, so this is week ending yesterday. Not a ton. eBay was definitely like slowed down for me. Plus, you guys ever look at like your 7-day numbers and then like a huge day drops off and you go from being like, yeah, I'm doing good, to all of a sudden it looks like you're doing terrible. That just happened to me. So I had 20 outgoing eBay orders, 12 for Etsy and Grailed combined, which is actually 6 on Etsy, 6 on Grailed, which I'm pretty stoked about. So 32 total.
And you've only been on Grailed for like 2 weeks.
Yeah, for like 2 weeks. And 32 total outgoing orders. So my eBay gross sales, I really like to have eBay closer to 2,000. So $1,285.94.
That's a crappy eBay week.
Yeah, it's not a great eBay week, but like I said, it's like I lost like a $700 day like just yesterday. So as it fell off the 7-day mark. Etsy and Grailed combined $767.34. Etsy's been pretty slow this last week. Only about 300 of that is from Etsy. Grailed, like Vikki was just saying, I've only been on there for a couple of weeks. I'm up to a little over 1,200 listings, and I did $456 on Grailed in the last week with 6 sales there. So that's pretty cool. So that did help me bring my number up over 2,000, $2,053.28. My shipping, $235.79. My promotion fees, I did turn my promoted listings back on eBay. There wasn't a huge difference, but I did see a little bit of a dip in clicks on my listings. So went ahead and turned those back on. $73.37. My cost of goods, $380. And so that brings my total net sales to $1,140.75.
That's not good.
It's not great. I will say, however, I didn't source it all this week. I did pick up a little bit of stuff when I took Vikki out yard sailing, and the price was so low that she paid for it for me because I was driving her around. So my actual cost of goods for what I spent on inventory this week is $0. So that kind of helps. But yeah, gross average sale price, $64.17. Net average sale price, $35.65. So I would say it was an okay week, and particularly since I didn't spend a lot of money, it was fine. But let's go over to Vikki, who thinks she's real cool. And according to Victoria Smith, she also thinks she's real cool.
Hey,
let's look at these numbers.
Yeah, not bad. It was a pretty good week. I feel like this is where I like to be. So I have 0 complaints on the week as far as sales. So I had 45 orders on eBay, 10 between Etsy and Posh. So it was 6 on Posh, 4 on Etsy. And I believe I even had 2 on Mercari. So
you didn't break it out on your little thing you gave me.
I know it was hard to do that. So we need to actually change this grid so that I can break stuff out. Anyway, it was 55 total orders that went out. That's what it was, 4 Etsy, 4 Posh, 2 Mercari. That's what it was.
Yeah.
So 55 total, $24.65 and change on eBay.
eBay, sorry to interrupt you. Your eBay was double my eBay.
Yeah.
Double. Sorry, continue.
Okay, so Etsy, Posh, and Mercari, that's $563.28. My total is just over $3,000 for the week. My shipping was $343. I did have a handful of international orders, and a couple of them the shipping was a little bit high because they were bigger items. So that's why my shipping's a little high. Promotion fees, again, like Katy, I turned my promoted listing fees back on eBay, but that also includes my, I paid $2 a day on Etsy. So it's still not super high. I had turned off my promoted listing fees on eBay for about 10 days to see if it made a difference, and it really didn't. It didn't increase my sales, but it didn't decrease them either. So I was like, well, whatever, I'll just put it up there. So eBay final value fees, $295, Etsy final value fees, I think that's Etsy, Mercari, and Posh. Again, we need to get a little bit closer, but that's close enough. You get a general idea because we're using an Excel spreadsheet, so we have to recalculate the formulas. Yeah. So my cost of goods was fairly low at $207. So my total net is just around $2,000, $2,100, right around there. So that was a good week for me. My gross average sale price is right where I want to be, between $50 and $60. So it's $55 and change. And my net after cost was over $37. So I'm pretty pretty good with that.
Not too shabby. Yeah, your eBay double mine. I would like to address something that Greg Dupage Picker pointed out, saying that Vikki was out of town most of the week. I think, and so I think that a lot of your success over the last week has to do with the fact that you did not have to extend your handling time because you had someone doing your shipping for you.
Yes, clearly.
In which case, I'm going to go ahead and redo these spreadsheets and transfer over at least $500 from Vikki's spreadsheet to mine, which will bring us a little closer together and make it only fair.
So here's the deal. I also didn't list for 10 days. So the fact that I didn't get any listings done and I was just refreshing some listings is pretty good. Yeah, I did have a good week. I didn't have to pack. I didn't have to, although I will be fair, Katy only packaged 3 days of orders. I was gone for 6 days. She packaged 3 days. So what she did ship on 3 days.
No, it was 3 shipping days.
Yes.
But it was all those people were ordering stuff all of those days. Don't be rude, okay? I would like to go back and
I know she's so put upon, Jesus.
What good is doing things for other people if you don't get to hold it over their heads forever?
And gloat about it for a month on end.
Jeez.
Lord.
Jeez. Okay, I want to give Nate a shout out because Nate says that he sold his first Grail, which is pretty awesome. So good for you, Nate. Happy to hear it. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with how quickly I seem to have already gotten. I've had 8 total orders so far on Grail. And I've already gotten 2 feedback. So I don't know if that's like a high feedback platform or what. But I'm
not on Grailed. I don't know. I've never been on Grailed.
Well, okay. What's happening in the chat over here?
We've got some new people there that have commented that this is their first time catching a live show. So welcome in. I apologize in advance.
So very. Oh, you think you're pretty funny? You just made yourself laugh there. What is that?
I may punch her today. Just so you know.
Here's the thing.
There may be some domestic violence about to happen.
There's been a little chat, a little chatter over in the chat, I should say, about last night. Vikki and Dana, who's also in the chat, were at Brett Michaels' show, on Fremont. And there was a little bit of a kerfluffle. There were some people that were not respecting other people's space, other people's bubbles. And Vikki got real close to having to throw down. And I kind of feel like she was never able to kind of get that.
I have a lot of pent-up rage
release.
Today. Is that what that is?
That release. So there is a good chance that she's not just making idle threats. So I do probably need to watch myself. But knowing myself, I will probably ramp up the antics and then I'll be in trouble. But anyway,
there was almost an altercation. Yeah, it came real close, I have to say, between Dana. I just looked at her. She's like, I got you. Like we almost had to throw down with these 2 crazy drunk women and then a big, huge, fat guy who got into my face and I was yelling at. And I think he was almost going to hit me, which I would have welcomed because it would have been a nice, good time. It
wouldn't have been a good time.
I would have liked to see this big drunk guy hit a woman in a crowd full of 1,000 people. It wouldn't have been a good time for him.
No. See, this is the thing. She's a fiery East Coast girl who, when it comes down to it, she'll throw some punches. But then it's later when you have to be full of regret when it all goes.
I've never been full of regret.
Yeah, so far you've been lucky. Anyway, let's go ahead and look at our sales highlights for the week. I didn't have a crazy number of sales, but I still had some cool things that I sold. And I think you've got some cool stuff.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and check that out. First one up is you. What's
so
this?
This is just a picture frame. I don't pick up a lot of picture frames. I know Kara Cooper is in the chat and that is like her specialty. She loves picture frames and she does very well with them because they're really inexpensive. They're both inexpensive in thrift stores and at garage sales and things like that. There's usually a ton. So there's something to be said for the fact that they can sell for really good money. But this one I thought was kind of original. First of all, it was Warner Brothers, Looney Tunes or what have you, and it was vintage, and it's Pepe Le Pew, which you don't see a lot of Pepe Le Pew stuff. Like it's not like Winnie the Pooh or Mickey Mouse, where it's just everywhere. So I picked this up for about $2, maybe $3 or so at a thrift store, and I sold it for the price that you see there.
That's crazy.
Plus it went international, so they paid, I think, $25 for shipping, and then I used pirate ship, and it cost me $17 and change. So yeah, I mean, that I keep an eye out for vintage or original looking frames.
Yeah, very cool. All right, first one for me, Kara. I don't know if you recognize. Wait, did I get this one from Kara? Maybe I don't remember if I got this one from Kara, if I bought it at she'll have to tell me if she gave it to me or if I bought it from yesterday's fits. But this is Superman the Ride, Six Flags Holland, which I thought was really cool.
Oh, Holland.
So actually, I don't think this is one of the ones that no, it's not from Kara. So I picked this one up at yesterday's fits, so I probably paid like $20 for it. And I got my little cheat sheet here, and but I put it up, and I got pretty quickly. I got an offer for $65, and it went to the Netherlands, and so I jumped on that because I wanted to get some sales coming in. So $20 into $65 plus shipping to the Netherlands, which means I saved on shipping plus made a little bit extra. I thought that was a good quick flip, especially, you know, when I'm paying up a little bit, if I'm not going to have it sit around for too long, I'm okay with this somewhat smaller margins. I just, you know, I'm a little bit obsessed with anything Universal Studios or anything theme park related right now. I don't know why, but I just am. So next one for you. Ooh, fancy.
So this is one that I've picked up. I can't remember how long I've had this, but it's been over 6 months for sure. It's one of those vintage items, you know, you've got to wait for it to sell and find the right buyer. I do believe I paid about $15 for this. This was from an estate sale, and it sold for the price that you see there, $91. It was on sale. It sold domestically. So I've started charging for my shipping, and it's just a flat fee that I charge. It did go priority. I'm sure it cost me around $8 to ship it. And you know, I eat the majority of the shipping costs because we all know that you can't ship anything priority for $6.95. Yeah. So Dana says I've had this one for about a year. It's close. I probably have that one for a year.
Time to go. So Allison says that Dana is her ride or die and you're her punch and run.
That's pretty accurate. It takes me I shouldn't say it takes me a lot, because it doesn't take me a lot. I have a very bad temper. It doesn't take me a lot to get there. But I last night was probably the first time I came close to actually hitting somebody in a very long time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Kara says that she's been watching the Universal Tea that she gave me. And Kara, I will say I've had multiple offers on it, and I've been kind of holding out because I have a lot of watchers on it. I feel like it's already has like over 10 watchers. And I've had a few offers. I don't know. We'll see. I'll probably end up taking one of the offers that I've gotten, but it's definitely gotten a lot of interest. It's a cool shirt. All right, next one for me, Frank Yankovic.
Oh, I remember this one.
I got this one at the yesterday's fit sale when we first were buying from them. So I paid $10 for this one. 1986 Grammy Award winner Frank Yankovic, not to be confused with anyone related to Weird Al. But I did sell this. I took an offer.
We all thought he was related to Weird Al. Come on now. He's got the,
nope.
You know, the accordion.
The name, no.
How many Yankovics are there?
Probably
that are famous musicians.
Anyway, so I took an offer for this one as well for $65. Again, I paid $10 for this, and it's pretty cool. It's a sign, his signature on it, you know, for the big Frank Yankovic fan out there.
Ooh.
I'm gonna go out sport. Maybe they're gonna frame it. I don't know. But it's a pretty cool T-shirt. Sold it for 65 out of 10. And I've had this up. I've had this for like over a month now, for sure. Like probably.
He kind of does look like Dracula, Grandma Cheap Cheap, because he's got that red collar. It looks almost like the red lining on the satin cape. Good call.
There you go.
Kind of Dracula.
Yep. All right, next one for you.
So this one I did take an offer on. It's not the price that you see there, but I've had this a good 6 months, and I paid $12 for this, and I did take an offer for $175. Buyer paid shipping, and I was perfectly happy to take the offer on this because it's been sitting for a while.
Yeah. Very nice. Very nice. All right. Next one for me. This is actually something that I just picked up like a week and a half ago. I don't remember if
that one's cute.
I think I showed it. I think I showed it in the last haul that we did. So it was only up for maybe 4 or 5 days before it sold. But I did take an offer for $100. You know, I had it listed for $139.99. Somebody offered $100. I believe I paid $20 for it, maybe $25. Again, I'll go for a little bit of lower margin if it can do a quick flip, so I can keep things moving along. But this is such a cool sweatshirt. I'm really liking, you know, along with theme park stuff and Universal Studios, I've also been picking up more like hockey t-shirts and sweatshirts and stuff, just because there's so much more of like basketball and baseball and football. So I just always am excited when I see hockey stuff. And I especially don't see a lot of New York Rangers stuff here. Actually, didn't you just sell a New York Rangers pennant?
I did.
That I shipped out for you? Speaking of hockey and the Rangers. Anyway, cool sweatshirt. Again, sold it for $100, paid $20, maybe $25, but I think it was $20 for this from yesterday's fits about a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago. So not a bad little flip. Next.
Okay, so this one, again, it's very similar to the last jacket. This is another one, must be a thing going on. I always pick up vintage sports coats that look like this, the ones that have a bit of a Western flair to them, or corduroy, or the kind that have the patches on the elbows. They always sell for me, and regardless of the brand, really. So this one, I maybe paid $10 for. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I can't imagine I would have paid more than 10. So it's probably 10 or less. And this took a little bit to sell as well, maybe about 4 or 5 months. And it sold for the price that you see there, $71.96. It was just, it was the sale price on that. And that's it. I mean, it's a nice vintage sport coat.
Very nice.
Yeah, nice. I mean, it's a popular style still.
So Tommy in Seattle says, hey ladies, first, thanks for all your wonderful info. When do you add your products to on sale, and how long do you run each sale? You know, like how many days or whatever. I will say for me, I've run a sale. I used to do every Monday and Friday with my eBay. I would start a sale on Monday, have it end on Friday. Then I'd start another sale on Friday, have it end on Monday. I've changed it to where now I just do it Monday to Monday, and I pretty much just put everything on sale at the same time. I don't wait. On Etsy, I do a sale at the beginning of the month for everything in my store, 10% off, and nothing gets added to it along the way. So everything I list throughout the month does not go into that sale, and that's the way I do that one. And that's about it. What about you?
So I do exactly as you do on eBay. eBay, I run my sales Wednesday to Wednesday, and I'm always running a sale, and it's always my entire store. So sometimes it's 30% off, sometimes it's 18% off, sometimes it's 20% off, and every kind of variation in between. So Wednesday to Wednesday, it's always the entire store. It's not by categories, but I will say when I list new items, they do not go into the sale. So they can be up to a week not on sale, or when I end and relist items, they do not get added into the sale. So fresh items are not on sale right away.
Yeah.
And then on Etsy, I run my sales in like 10-day spurts. And sometimes it's 10% off, sometimes it's 20% off, sometimes it's 15.
Yeah.
And I try to always have a sale running there. Sometimes I'll forget, and that one will go a couple of days without a sale.
Yeah. All right. So my next one is this Notre Dame starter jacket. And I actually sold a couple of these. I'm going to show you one in a little bit that I sold on Etsy as well. But these are both, they were both ones that I picked up from yesterday's fit. So I'm pretty sure I paid $30 for this. And this is just kind of to show, I had both of them, I got close together within like a week of each other. And so they've both been listed for maybe a month tops, but probably a little bit less. And, you know, some people worry about buying smaller sizes. I don't have that issue. Yes, some of the bigger sizes will sell a little bit faster, but look there, my tag picture is a little bit blurry. How do you feel about that?
Good.
Anyway, so when I make purchasing decisions, I never pass something up because it's a smaller size. I just know it might take a little bit longer, but in this case, this one sold quickly enough. I had some lower offers on it, and then somebody offered 105, and I was like, you know what? I want to get this out the door. I need to make some money. So $30 spent a few weeks ago turned into $105, and I was happy. Size small. So not a problem. Just any of these satin starter jackets, vintage starter jackets, I'm going to pick up because they're always going to sell. Next one for you.
So you guys might have remembered this one from a haul video we did maybe 3 weeks ago, I want to say. I picked this up at an estate sale in a box that actually had 2 of them in the box, and I wasn't exactly sure what it was when I bought it. I actually thought it was like a Viewmaster, a different brand of Viewmaster, but I knew it was Bakelite and I knew it was vintage and I knew about when it was from. But I picked up 2 of these. So I actually still have one for sale. And this is the one that had a little bit of damage, and it's not even damage, it just has a smudge on the top. But I took an offer for this for $275.
Crazy.
This went to France. I paid $2.50 because I bought 2 for a total of $5. And it was listed for about 3 weeks, and I still have one left. I'm super happy to have flipped that one as fast as I did. And yeah, so it was a good, easy sale.
And what day of the sale was this one on?
This was, I think, the 2nd week or the 3rd day.
It was like it had been days and you still picked that up. So just that just goes to show, you know, yes, a lot of the good stuff's going to get picked up right away in the state sale, but that doesn't mean that there's nothing to uncover. There aren't any treasures to get later on in a sales cycle.
Part of it is just having some knowledge or taking a chance. Honestly, there was not a lot of chance to be made. If you were, grabbing something for $2.50, it doesn't matter if it was going to sell for 10. That's not a big chance. But I knew it was old and I knew it was Bakelite, and I didn't even open the box all the way. I just knew that I was going to buy it. So yeah, that was a pretty good flip.
Yep. All right. So now I've got this X-Men Wolverine Cyclops t-shirt, this vintage 90s all over print. Now here's another one, size small, and let me tell you, this is small. It's real. I have it. I put it in my my condition description. I say very slim vintage fit. It really was a tiny shirt, and you can see right here it's a small, but it measures 16.75 inches across the chest and 25 inches in length. Just a really, really small shirt. I think I paid $30, maybe $40 tops for this, because these X-Men, all over print comic book t-shirts from the 90s do really, really well. But I knew it would probably take a little while to sell it
because it's tiny. That's tiny.
It's real tiny, but it sold. It ended up going to somebody locally, not somebody I know, but just somebody in Vegas. And it went to a woman. So I'm guessing that it's probably for her, because it is pretty tiny. We went back and forth a couple times, but we ended up at $125. So she paid $125 for the shirt. Like I said, I think I paid anywhere from $30 to $40 for it, but sold it for $125. I think I've had it for like maybe a month and a half or so. But yeah, anything like any of these all over prints, you should go look at the solds for all over print comic book t-shirts from the 90s. Man, your mind will be blown. Especially, I think the Silver Surfer ones are the ones that go for like the highest prices. It's just nuts. So always be on the lookout for this kind of stuff, because it's just crazy. All right, next for you.
So this was a vintage item that sold on Etsy, and it's something I picked up several months ago, like 6 or 9 months ago, and picked it up for about $3. I purchased a big lot of these guns, and this was the last of them. So I was okay with that.
Etsy doesn't let you like look at the listing page anymore. It's kind of a bummer.
I know. I was gonna look at it. It looked weird to me. So
yeah, because like I click on it, because normally you would click on this and it would take you to the listing page, and it's not letting me do it anymore, which is kind of yeah.
So Wendy said the solds are pretty blurry and hard to see. That's probably on your end. Just refresh your stream or change your resolution on the YouTube stream, because we can see exactly what you're seeing on our other screen, and there's no blur here.
Yeah, just try to.
You might just have to refresh.
I would like to point out too that like apparently, because I looked at this listing, I love the all of the suggested items that I might be interested in, such as the Mario and Luigi felt dress-up mask. And I don't know what's happening here with this hippo. I've never searched for a pink hippopotamus.
No.
And then it goes into, but it's like this stuff and then guns.
Well, that's because that's a gun, so that makes sense.
I understand that part. I'm saying why is this the stuff that's at the top?
I don't know. Those people may pay for heavy sponsored listing ads.
Always good to pay for sponsored ads that are going to go where somebody probably doesn't want that crap. So, all right, let's see what they paid.
So they paid what you see there, $79.95. I have about $3 or $4 into it, and like I said, this was US. You cannot sell guns, even toy guns outside of the US. There are some countries you can sell them to, but it's too difficult to differentiate in your listing. So I make all of those listings just US only.
Yeah.
And also be very, very careful if you are selling cap guns, toy guns. You need to have the orange safety tip in your photographs at all times. And you need to take your main photo has to be a photo of the entire gun. There also is some verbiage that has to be in the listing that is required by both eBay and Etsy as far as safety reasons and stating that it is a replica. So be very careful if it's not something that you know about. It's very easy to get them pulled down and have your account restricted if you don't have it done appropriately.
And what's your little trick tip for that orange safety
So they
thing?
do sell orange safety caps that you can buy them on Amazon and things like that. But what I always buy and use, because it doesn't damage them, especially if it's a vintage gun, they're supposed to be permanently affixed. You don't want to do that because no one's going to want something that you damage by gluing a cap on. But what works for the photos and for sale purposes, you can purchase those little orange they're foam, they're earplugs.
Yeah.
So they're just the foam earplugs you can stuff to fit inside the cap, and then the buyer can remove it.
But they have it like hardware stores and stuff.
They sell
like
them everywhere. They
Yeah.
sell them at CVS. They sell them on, on Amazon if you don't leave your house, stuff like that.
Like me.
Yeah.
I try anyway. All right. So next one for me. So like I said, I had sold this other Notre Dame, pretty much the same jacket. This one's a medium, although their measurements weren't that far off from each other. But what's funny is they sold within a day of each other. Like I sold the one on eBay, and then like the next day I sold it on Etsy, and I was like, oh, that's kind of weird. And so again, I believe I paid $30 for this one. And this one I did not get an offer on this one, but it was on sale for 10% off. So it actually went for $135. So the other one I sold for $105, or I took an offer for $105, and this one I sold for $135. So between the two of them, I paid $60, and I sold them for $240.
So hey, one of our wrenches in there. Yep, thank you, Allison. Get that doofus out of the chat, please.
Yeah, very entertaining. Anyway, so I thought, again, anytime for these kind of jackets, if they're in good condition, even if you don't know the team, at the very least, I think $30 is a really fair price to pay for these, as far as your cost of goods. If you know a little bit more about like what teams sell for a lot or specific things about certain jackets, maybe you can go higher. But just a good rule of thumb, I would say, is $30 as long as it's in good condition. All right, next one for you.
So this was a customer asked me if they could. They purchased it early in the week, and they needed it by Friday, and it was going priority anyway because I ship free priority on Etsy, but they were worried that it wouldn't get there in time, so they wanted to pay for express. So they were very happy to pay $45 for me to express this item that they would have received on time via priority anyway. But they paid an extra $45 to send this out, and this sold on Etsy. I had about $10 into this, and it sold on Etsy for. Hello.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm like, what? Why are you pausing?
I'm waiting for you to do what you're supposed to do.
My apologies, madam. All right. There you go.
It sold on Etsy for $110, and then they paid $45 for shipping.
Woo. Not too shabby. Yeah, I love these old school jackets like this. The colors are awesome. They're just cool. All right. I'm going to show my Grailed sale, guys. One of my big Grailed sales for this last week. Now, this is one, I don't know if you guys remember, like, I don't know, probably maybe 6 months ago, 8 months ago, I got this at
I remember
at Buffalo Exchange. Vikki thought it was nuts because I paid $50 for it, and it is just absolutely trashed. Like, you just look at it, it's so thin. It's got holes. It's like worn and faded. It's just in pretty rough condition, and I paid $50 for it, and I priced it pretty high. I will say I probably held out for too long. I sold it for $198. I did early on. I had this guy who was a huge Bowie fan, and he really wanted to buy it from me for $200. And at the time, I just felt like I could get more for it. And now it's like, I feel bad because I would have, now I'm like, I would have totally sold it for $200, but I was holding out. But I still knew it was going to sell eventually. So when I got this offer on Grailed for $198, I was like, okay, I'll do $198. That's cool. So anyway, so that was like my big Grailed sale. Yeah, I think that's all that we have as far as our sale highlights go. Where'd you go?
I forgot one of my items for the haul.
Because I kept talking about that, so you knew you thought of it.
I thought I had it in the pile.
Interesting. Interesting. Anyway, yeah, so that's it for that. And we're gonna get into yeah, so Kelly, Grailed fees, they're definitely lower than, I don't remember what they are off the top of my head. They're lower than eBay, but they're higher than Etsy, I believe. So ideally, if I can sell something on Etsy, I love it because the fees are pretty low compared to the other two. But Grailed is definitely still lower, and I do like that on Grailed it is paying to my PayPal, and you don't have to wait like you do with some of the other platforms.
Oh yeah, like between Posh and Macari, they both take like a solid 10 days to get paid.
Yeah.
By the time you've shipped it, and then they've received it, and then they have 3 days to rate you, and
yeah,
75% of the people don't rate you. So
with Grailed, they pay through PayPal. It does hold your payment. Like you'll get a notification that you got the money, but then you won't actually have the money because PayPal puts it on hold. But as soon as you as soon as you add a tracking number to the sale in Grailed, they release the funds. They don't make you wait till it gets delivered or anything like that. So it's kind of nice, and you have like 5 days to ship. But obviously, I do it. I ship my Grailed stuff just like I ship everything else, so it never takes 5 days. Anyway, so as far as this week goes, what you did more sourcing than I did. You went out one day by yourself.
I went sourcing 2 days.
What?
I know. Which I normally source 1 day a week, as does Katy. But I'm going to be employing a new person. We're going to talk about that on our show on Wednesday about scaling up. But because of that, I actually needed to source more stuff than I can normally process myself in a week. Plus, I missed a week.
Yeah. And then for me, I just I ended up not going to yesterday's fits. I didn't do any sourcing because I was going to go on Thursday, but then I had other projects I was working on, doing stuff around the house, and Vikki wanted to go and do some sourcing at thrift stores on her own, and I was just like, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and work on doing some more cross posting. Like I said, I'm already over 1,200 listings on Grailed now. I'm going to work on ending some old listings on eBay and Etsy and doing kind of sell similar, which you can do that on Etsy too. And let me tell you guys, it does work because I had this week. I had because you can go and you sort your listings by ending soonest because it automatically relists every 4 months. And you end it, and then you can like just basically copy it and make a new listing. I sold a sweatshirt this week, and then I went to end it on Etsy or eBay, and it wasn't there, and I was like, oh no. I totally relisted this item. It already sold on eBay, and I'm not gonna be able to find it. Turns out I did have it. It was just one of those. Speaking of doing inventories, it was one of those items that fell off of eBay, and luckily I sold it on Etsy because I made it a fresh listing. But anyway, so I basically only have stuff that I picked up at one of the yard sales that we went to.
To make a 2-sentence story 75 minutes long with how she sourced. Here we go.
I'm going to start, I'm going to timestamp the different parts of this video, and there's going to be the timestamp that's just for Katy's rambling rant in case people want to skip it, or in case people specifically want to hear what I have to ramble about. What do you say about that? Anyway, so I barely have anything to share with you guys this week. Vikki has quite a bit of stuff and some cool stuff. So why don't you go ahead and start?
So I did source quite a bit at garage sales. We did do some garage sales, and I'm just going to show a few things from garage sales. Not super high-end items, but items that I thought were pretty cute. So I paid $5 for this. It's just a CVS. It's new. It's a CVS Snoopy hot dog toaster. Some people have sold them pretty low, but I think I can get about $40 plus shipping on this. They don't make them anymore, and it's new. So
it's cute.
5 into 40, I think, and I think it's cute. I think people that collect Snoopy stuff will like that. So I paid $5 at a garage sale.
I think only monsters toast their hot dog buns, so I'm just saying.
I did pay up a little bit for this at a garage sale. This was, I bought 2 of them. So speaking of the Silver Surfer, this is a new in package Silver Surfer model kit. So I bought 2 of these and I paid about $10 a piece. I think I can get about 75 a piece. There have been some people that have sold them higher and some people that have sold them for too low, but there are not very many listed, maybe 1 listed right now. And I think it's listed too low. So,
well, there's like another one that's similar, but it's not the same one that's selling for a lot lower. I think this one's cool.
Yeah. So I think I'm going to go for this, sell for this about 75 bucks or so.
Well, those were $10 a piece, but you also got her to knock off like $10 off of your total.
Right, but I bought a lot of things. So yeah, so maybe $9 a piece is what they were.
It matters.
I did not bring anything back from Rhode Island. I did purchase only 2 items. I went sourcing for about 45 minutes on my last day. My suitcases were packed, but I did ship 2 blankets home. My mom dropped them off yesterday at the post office. I had to email a shipping label. It was a big kerfluffle. This is my parents. They don't know how to print out a shipping label. My mother couldn't figure out how to get onto her computer so that I could do it at her house. I had to email it to my father.
Is kerfluffle the word of the day?
I don't know. Did I?
I said it earlier.
Did you?
But I do think it's funny because I was telling Vikki, which told me that she was like leaving it for her parents to ship out. I'm like, you're never going to see those blankets ever again. Like maybe someday when like you're moving them into a home or something and you're having to deal with all the stuff at the house, you're going to come across those blankets. So I will say,
I'm impressed.
I will say
they got dropped off at the post office yesterday. I'm impressed. So I will show them next week on the haul, Kara, just for you. So picked this up yesterday. I like selling vintage operating system and vintage computer software because a lot of people buy it, you know. It depends on what it is. Some of it is worthless. A good portion of it is worthless. But this I paid about $3 for, and it has sold in the neighborhood of $50 to $100, depending on what platform you're selling it on. This is complete. It does have all the software in it. It does have all the manuals and all that kind of stuff in it. So, you know, some people have undersold it, I think. Again, it's one of those. But I paid $3 or $4. I expect to get at least 50 for it. If I throw it up on Amazon, I think I can get more. So I may try to merchant fulfill, sell it on Amazon and see what happens.
Nerds.
So a couple other things. I did pick up some dolls. We went to a thrift store day before yesterday, while we were out doing garage sales, and it was a thrift store for us. But they were having a 50% off sale on their hard goods and most of their clothing. Most of the clothing was crap. I did pick up 1 item of clothing that I'll show later. That was a good item, but I paid up for it. But these things were only $5 a piece. So these are new in the box collectible dolls from Madame Alexander. This particular doll is a reprint. So this one was done in 2000. It's a reprint of a doll from the 70s. But I paid $5 for it. It's an Elizabethan pincushion is what it's called, for whatever that's worth. But this does sell for about $100. It was a collector's item, and there were only a few made. So even though it's a newer doll, it does have
how much did you say?
About 100.
Nice.
It does have some collectability. Usually dolls made, this was made in 2000, I think it was remade in 2000. Even though it was made recently, it does have some value, which is not usually the case for porcelain dolls.
Yeah, dolls, I mean, obviously I don't sell dolls, but dolls it's one of those things that's like, I would think it'd be very overwhelming to get into because there's so many that are absolutely worthless. And I will see dolls, because this particular place had a whole bunch of dolls everywhere. And Vikki had looked very quickly and didn't see any that were worth anything. And luckily, like, again, I know nothing, so it's not like it was anything special that I did. But there were some dolls that were at a back table, and I'm like, did you go look at those ones? And they happened to be some of these.
But and I didn't see these.
To me, they all look the same. Like, I'm like, because there were a bunch of vintage ones there, and she's just like, yeah, they're not worth anything.
Right.
I don't know.
But these are worth something. So that I do like. This is another Madame Alexander doll. This is actually one from 1970s. And the reason why I mentioned this doll is they're all new in the box. Again, I paid $5. They were 50% off. This is a Victoria doll. And we all know my name's Victoria, right? I have a couple of these. I don't collect anything except the Madame Alexander Victoria dolls. I have this exact doll. My mom bought it for me in 1974 when she was pregnant with me. She knew she was going to name me Victoria. And I still have it. And so I purchased this one. It's a crier doll. It cries. Squeaks, it cries. So I have this exact one in this exact dress. That was mine.
It stares at me while I sleep at night.
It does not. It's put away. But this particular one, because it's new, it's in the package, no one's ever touched it, it's in the box, it'll probably sell, again, I paid $5, it'll sell for about 75 to 100 as well.
Interesting.
And I'm going to show you one more doll, and then Katie can
show you my sad little haul.
Well, I have a lot more, but I don't want to. This is another one that was new in the package. This is also 1970s, Madame Alexander. This is one called Puddin'. This one will also sell for $75 to $100, and I paid $5 for it. And she's new in her box with the hang tag. So not all dolls are worth selling, but it is something that is one of my niches that I know well. I do know dolls very well.
Well, and that's what I was getting at. There's just so much to know within that whole area of reselling.
If I could only sell dolls, I would.
Yeah.
They're just good vintage ones are harder to find here. I don't collect them. I don't really even particularly like them. I do like selling them. Yeah.
Well, it's just like how you were talking about like software, vintage software. You are like the last person in the world that has any interest in anything technology based.
It's true.
But you like to make money that way. So Allison, Big Drift Thrift, has a very, very good question. I think she's referring to the Victoria doll. She would like to know, does it punch?
It does not. So it is not exactly my namesake, but it could be. And yet, Milk Cap is correct. Madame Alexander is very hit or miss. The newer Madame Alexander, anything really 80s and newer, for the most part, is not worth reselling. But anything 70s and older Madame Alexander, it generally is. If you want to draw the line that way, and there are exceptions to the rule in either direction, but for the most part, if it was made anywhere newer than 1980, it's not worth reselling.
And there was actually a bunch more of the Madame Alexander at that sale, and those were the only 3 that you picked up. So, but to me, I'm like, I don't know.
There was one other one I was going to pick up, and then some weird lady grabbed it in front of us and knew nothing about it. So had I stuck around, she probably put it back. I could have grabbed that one too.
But at the same time, I can go through a stack of T-shirts and in about 2 seconds tell you which ones are worth grabbing or not. So everybody has their own little area of expertise and what they're good at. All right, you want me to show some of my sad stuff? I'll show you a few things oh, by the way, in a couple of weeks, guys, we're gonna be going on a little adventure, a little sourcing adventure to really hopefully buy up tons of stuff. Source-a-palooza. So I will be documenting that and taking you guys on our journey. We're gonna go to Arizona. But anyway, so I don't know if I showed this in the last haul we had. I don't think I did, but I ended up getting one of these one week, and then the next week I went back to Yesterday's Fits, and they had another one, and I'm like, I might as well just buy them both because I already have the listing up. But this is dead stock Los Angeles Raiders sweatshirt. This is I would say this is late 80s. So, I mean, I always like to pick up anything. Raiders is a popular team, but the Los Angeles Raiders was that was them from the late
that was the OG
mid 80s.
I don't know.
Well, they were originally Oakland, I believe, and then they were Los Angeles from the 80s through the mid 90s. But Los Angeles Raiders is the Raiders of Ice Cube and stuff like that, and what you see in old
and the streetwear videos.
Yeah, all the old rap videos,
the rap videos
and stuff like that from the 80s and 90s. It's all about the LA Raiders. So it's just a really cool sweatshirt, and I think I have it listed. I might have it up to 200, but want to sell it for 100 or 150. But I got 2 of them because why not? They're both, and I think I paid $30 a piece for them. But I'll definitely make some money on those. A couple of T-shirts I got this last week, and since we didn't have a haul, I get to show them. I don't always buy a lot.
I like that one.
I don't always buy a lot of casino stuff. It really just kind of depends. But this one I thought was a super, super awesome shirt. This is at the Excalibur Hotel and Casino. But
it's the one that people think is going to be so cool because it looks like a castle, and then you get here and it's made for families. It was at that time in the 90s when Vegas was trying to cater to families and say that Vegas was family friendly. It's not. It never has been.
Boo, hits, boo.
It's a really, really cheesy hotel, but that's a really cool shirt.
Yeah. So it's the MGM opened in 93 as the whole Wizard of Oz theme, and it was amazing. The videos are so cool if you ever go check that out. it only lasted a few years that way because they realized that it was attracting too many families, and guess what? Kids don't gamble.
It's true.
Anyway, this all over print. It's just really cool, kind of fantasy themed with dragons. It's got the knights fighting dragons. It's got a wizard on it.
And then right in the middle, it's got the picture of the hotel
I know,
in
right?
Las Vegas.
I know, right? But this is just a really cool shirt. I think I paid like $25 for it. I think I have it listed for like $100. It's just a really,
It's pretty cool.
1994. Again, another thing I love, my all over print t-shirts.
All over prints.
All over prints. All over prints. And then the other shirt that I picked up this last week. Now, if you saw, I did a live video in the Facebook group. I did pick up a ton more of the hot air balloon festival jackets because Jesse turned out had gone to the same sale. So not only did I buy 3 the first day we went to that estate sale, went back, bought another 8 or 9. And then when I was doing research, I saw that he also had some listed. Turned out he went to the same sale on the second day that we went, but he was there before us. So he bought a lot of the jackets too. And he realized, he was like, they're just taking up too much room. So he had talked them down to like $12 a piece. I think I paid $15 a piece at that on that day. He had talked them down to $12 a piece. He basically sold them all to me for $16 a piece. So he made like a handful of dollars on each one, and I ended up having like 20 hot air balloon jackets.
Which I happened to be looking through Crystal, Rosie's closet. I was looking through her store the other day. She must have gone to the same estate sale because she has a couple of them too.
Really?
So I think that's funny.
That is really funny.
But yeah, I'm laughing at Dana's description. Excalibur is Circus's slightly less trashy younger sister, but still trashy. It is. And see, Grandma's calling you. She's calling you on
I know,
it.
she's gonna call me out on this shit. Anyway, so the last thing I'll show that I got that week, other than the 500 million jackets, is just a dead stock Chicago Bulls 1993 champion T-shirt. Just nice because it's dead stock.
Hey, it's got still a hologram sticker on it.
Yeah, it's a cool hologram sticker on it. So I had to grab this. Paid like $20 for it. But I also sold a couple of sweatshirts that day. Hockey, Washington Capitals, as well as I don't remember the team, but a football sweatshirt. Might have been the 49ers, but it had the Flintstones on it. And that one was trashed, you guys. It was like so worn and faded and frayed. And I sold both of those within like 2 days of listing them. Like they went super, super fast. So
yeah, we had 220 people watching a few minutes ago. Could you guys hit the thumbs up if you're enjoying the show?
They're here for the rambling.
We already have our super fans have showed up to give us the thumbs down. So we see you. We see you. Thank you for allowing us to still take up rent in your head. I appreciate that.
Anyway, oh wait, you can go now.
I can go now?
Yeah.
So I picked up, I'll do a couple of more hard goods, and then I have some soft goods too. So how much stuff do you have left?
I mean, I have a little stack, but it's all from that same sale. So.
I guess it's going to be me. It's going to be
ahead.
the Vikki show for the next few minutes. Woo! It's about time.
I advised you upon buying. You tried to pass this up, and I'm like, don't do it. It's too cool.
It's true.
Just don't show Dana because she'll probably be like, I need that.
She's going to want it. I know, right? So I paid $9 for this. This is also new in package. This is from Spencer Gifts. It looks like the Killer Clowns from Outer Space clown. Or one of them, but it doesn't say that specifically on it. It's just an evil clown. It's a collectible figurine. It was sold at Spencer Gifts, but it was sold by Universal Studios, which again makes me think that he looks like the Killer Clown from Outer Space dude.
Well, it makes me think that it's actually it might have actually had something to do with Halloween Horror Nights.
I don't know.
And maybe it was one of their, one of their mazes of evil clowns, and you know how I feel about my Universal Studios.
Yeah, so it's possible. I haven't done any comps on it yet. I just did a quick look and I wasn't able to find the exact item. So I really can't tell you what I'm going to sell it for, but I'm expecting $75-ish or so. I just thought it was pretty cool.
But look at his balloons. His balloons are skulls, you guys. How awesome is that? Anyway,
Dana cannot have it.
Greg Dupage Picker. Nobody mispronounces his name because I say it exactly correctly. $5 super chat. And he says he came for the numbers, but stayed for the rambling. So thank you, Greg. I appreciate you. I appreciate you and everything you do. And hurry up and get here because
Yeah, see, Dana, gimme. No.
hurry up and get here because
No.
I feel like you would have been able to help diffuse the situation last night at the Brett Michaels show. Or maybe I don't know. I don't know. Would you get in a fight with Vikki? Do I have to worry about you guys when you go out to shows that you're going to get into like West Side Story
him.
fights?
It's good. It's all right. Greg does not strike me as a fighter, but he's worked in clubs his whole life as a musician. I'm pretty sure he does it. He's no stranger to it happening.
I feel like he would. I don't know him too well, but I feel like he would be able to diffuse the situation in a way that would be okay for everyone. So I'm hoping so. All right, continue. Oh wait, Victoria Smith. Apparently, she's given you she didn't say anything, but I think we can assume that $6 is because you're so cool.
And because you keep rambling, so she's trying to get you to shut up. I'm aware.
Well, how is giving $6 going to make me shut up?
Yeah, I think Dana's correct there. We've got Greg's back. Yeah. I think even Greg strikes me as a lover, not a fighter.
Oh, I see. So, Victoria says, I'll see Greg's $5 and raise him $1. So that means she's here for the rambling too. Thank you, Victoria Smith, for the $6. Thank you, Victoria Smith. Now you're better than Greg. Sorry. I apologize, Greg. I didn't mean it. Okay, go.
Okay, so same garage sale as the other Snoopy item. I picked this up the other day. A little Snoopy popcorn push cart. Look how cute this is. This is new in the box as well. Again, I didn't really do some price checking on this, but I'm assuming $40 to $50 plus shipping. I don't know.
Cute.
He's really cute. It's new in the box. $5 into 50. I'm okay with that.
Yeah. And it includes a butter melting tray.
Oh, hey. Well then.
Does anyone ever use the butter melting tray? Did you use the butter melting tray back in the day?
No. So I picked this pair of boots up. These are vintage Justin boots. They're not a fantastic style or anything like that. They're just plain leather, but they're dead stock, right? So we've got the tags on them. They even have the little cardboard insert inside, the Justin cardboard insert, but they're a little bit warped. I think that they've been, once they're on, it's not going to be a big deal, but I think they're a little smushed on the top. But I paid $9 for them. Again, I'll probably sell these for like $75 or so. And then this is the one thing I picked up right before we went. I went into Rhode Island. So I paid. Did I pay $150 or $200? I'm having a mind blank right now. I think I paid $200. I did buy this from Facebook Marketplace. And I haggled a little bit. Parking lot deal. So, it looks like a drug deal. You're meeting at 8 a.m. in a sketchy, getting a gas station parking lot.
Getting a black satchel in exchange for cash.
Right?
That's not cool.
So, this is just a Disneyland pack, but what it has in it is a collection of Disney pins. So this has about 200 Disney pins in it. And like I said, I paid $200, which boils down to about $1 a pin. So there's all different ones in here. There are some that are, for the most part, they're very common, but some of them, there's the whole collection. So it may be worth $30 or $40 each. I'm going to lot them up, and I mean, they're so easy to photograph and so easy to ship and all that kind of stuff. So I think at the very least, they're just one of those very easy pickups. They're not going to be a ton of money, but I'll definitely make far more than I paid. And even the ones that I sell for $10 are, if I only paid $1 for them. They're just so easy. They're easy to store. They're easy to ship. They're easy to list. It's 2 pictures. So I'm kind of happy with that purchase. Let's see. I will grab clothing.
Oh boy. Your pile of clothes.
Getting back to what Katy had talked about earlier, I picked this up for about $17 on Thursday. I got my very own satin bomber jacket. Starter, vintage starter. Starter Pro line. It is an extra large. So if you are a Miami Dolphins fan, I paid, like I said, about $18 for this. I think I can sell this for about $150. I'm just going to keep on going. I paid $12.99 for this vintage Woolrich, like a shirt jack. It's
Shirt
very
jacket?
heavy. It's a heavy wool, like a twill type of shirt that could definitely be worn as a jacket, as we call it, a shirt jack. So I think I'll probably sell this for about 50 or so. Let's see.
Is it a shirt? Is it a jacket? I don't know. We just call it shirt jack. Shirt jack.
Okay. All right.
Continue.
Then. Okay. Vintage Eddie Bauer jacket. I paid $12 for. It's flannel, blanket lined, like the wool. It's actually wool, not flannel. It's wool lines with the plaid. It's just kind of like this, like canvas winter coat. It's probably like a $75 jacket.
Yeah, Allison, good point. That shirt jack could be owned by someone named Jack, and then it could be Jack's shirt. So I think that's a really good point.
That's possible.
It's
all right, so you go ahead because I only have 4 more.
All right, so
5 more, 6 more.
So we went around to yard sales on Friday, and we went. It's such a crapshoot going to garage sales. You never know, because first of all, people are terrible at describing what they have, and so it's really, you could go and find amazing stuff, or you could go and it's just all garbage.
But it could all be baby clothes and strollers and car seats.
But we went to this one particular one. I usually don't. It's really hit or miss because I'm only getting clothing. But this one place, you actually got quite a bit of stuff, and I got quite a bit of stuff. And anyway, this person must have worked in law enforcement and with the FBI, because they got this cool sailing jacket. It's FBI. It says FBI National Academy Seattle '99. And this, would you pay like $1, or was it $5?
That was $1.
Okay, so all of my stuff was $1 each, which I didn't actually pay for because Vikki first of all, I didn't have cash on me, which is little tip, guys. When you go yard selling with somebody else, conveniently forget to bring cash. Works for me all the time. But I will say a fair trade-off for getting chauffeured around to all the yard sales. Anyway, so anything law enforcement, FBI, stuff like that, I think does pretty well. But it's like all kinds of different stuff. So like this is an 80s New York City of New York Police Department ringer tee. I think this one's really cool.
I like that one.
Yeah, and it's in nice condition. So again, pay the $1 for this one.
$1.
As far as what you can sell online, for the most part, most of the stuff is okay, especially when it's vintage. The ones that seem to be really big are like the post office. You can't sell anything that's like a post office or like FedEx. I know people do it all the time, but eBay will pull your listings if it's something like that.
Unless it's really old and very easily verifiable that it's vintage just by looking at it.
Yeah.
By the way, I have to acknowledge Nate's comment about the Eddie Bauer parka, the smart parka. I thought that was pretty funny.
Cute.
It's smart pack.
Smart pack.
That is exactly how my friends talk, just so you know.
It's true. All right, and then, so like I said, they're all from all over the place. So this one says FBI National Academy, Pennsylvania. So like all this stuff is like from kind of all different areas, but a lot of FBI stuff and law enforcement. This one's a little bit more worn, but it's definitely vintage 90s, this one.
Yeah, Michelle's
again,
right.
$1.
Michelle, reseller project. Airlines too. Airlines, railroad travel stuff. There's certain things that just that for whatever reason, it's because they don't want people to commit fraud. A lot of police stuff, police badges, you can't sell them unless they're super old. Like it needs to be more than vintage. It needs to be old.
Yeah.
Things like that. They're super collectible because they're hard to find. So there are other places that are fully legal to sell them. That's just an eBay rule. It's not a legality rule.
I usually list on Etsy.
It's not a law. It's just an eBay rule.
Yeah.
So there are other avenues to sell these things. It's just, eBay is very careful, as they should be. I mean, I don't blame them for wanting to. You want to keep this stuff out of the hands of people that are looking to misappropriate it.
Yeah. So this one, I don't usually pick up a lot of polo shirts, but this one was super cool. This is the Honolulu Police Department. So that one's cool. This one's in really nice condition, but this is like a late 90s.
That's cool.
Nice big size. So Honolulu Police Department. And then I've got a sweatshirt here, and this one is Department of Justice, United States Marshal.
Oh, I've sold everything that I've sold. I picked up at an estate sale with that type of logo, U.S. Embassy, all that kind of stuff.
So
it's
this
cool.
is the U.S. Marshals. So that's a really cool sweatshirt. Again, $1. So kind of nice when I've been spending up a lot as of recent. And then this one's got some wear and some depilling I need to do on it. But this is a FBI National Academy, and this one is definitely at least 90s, if not like 80s.
That's fun
style. But this is again FBI National Academy. So yeah, this person must have worked in law enforcement because they've got stuff from departments all over the country, which is kind of interesting. But again, $1 for everything. But Vikki, my sugar mama, she hooked me up. And so that's pretty much it. That's all I have for the week.
I have a few more things.
I didn't do anything.
So I see we have a new person, Thrifting Lounge. I don't know who you are, but thanks for popping in. I don't. Larry Lafferty was in reseller reunion video, suggested your channel last night during our. Well, thanks to Larry, and thanks for popping into the live.
Yep.
I'm assuming somebody just called you Kevin, so I'm assuming your name's Kevin. So
very cool. Kevin. Thank you very much.
So I picked this up. I did pay up for this. I'm not going to lie. So I paid.
Quit lying, man.
I know. I paid $40 for this, but I think I'm going to get about $2.50 for it. So it's a wool and leather varsity jacket, Cirque du Soleil. And I did a little bit of research on it, and they tend to be selling for about $200 or so, but I just did a little research. This particular one I think was given to employees only. So
I had a similar one that I sold for like $200.
Yeah,
like a year ago.
I don't think I'll have a problem selling that. I picked this up for about $6. This is a vintage Escada. But look at this vintage 80s glorious, 80s, 90s glorious,
magical,
sequin, tacky monstrosity of beautifulness. So I'm super excited. I think I can sell this for probably $75 to $100. And this is all day long. It's going to go on Etsy. It'll go on all my platforms, but I guarantee this one's going to sell on Etsy.
Get it listed so Glow can buy it. I think it's kind of funny. They must be like just gearing up to film the next season. Because we've had in our boss Facebook group, we've had 2 different people talk about making a sale and realizing it was going to the Glow costume department. So they're doing all their costume buys purchases right now, which I think is pretty cool.
So this was actually another really cool find. I did pay up for this as well. This I paid about $24 for, but this is a vintage 1960s U.S. Air Force Academy. Sorry, I'm trying to get the USAFA. So U.S. Air Force Academy. It's a wool jacket. And it's a really nice jacket, like big, heavy zipper. There's no holes in it. It's like someone had it and they stored it really nicely. This one I think I can sell for about $150. I've seen a few that have sold, not very many, and none this big because let's face it, guys, in the 60s, men and women were smaller. So a lot of them that I've seen have been really small. And this one is like this would fit a large man.
And it's like it's almost like a wool.
It hits like hip length. Or thigh length.
Yeah.
So I think I can get about a couple $100 out of this one.
Yeah.
I love vintage militaria, so I think that'll be really cool.
Yeah.
Let's see. This is one that I picked up at a thrift store. I did pay up for this. I did pay $20, but this is a vintage wool hand knit Kawashon sweater. Is what you'd call this. I don't know if you'd call it a curling sweater or not. Allison, that you're much better at that than I am. But I paid $20 for this, and I think I can sell this for about $100 or so.
Yeah, Dana says that she couldn't even get her grandpa's Navy uniform shirt over her head. He was tiny.
Yeah, everybody was a little bit smaller.
A little bit
smaller. This I paid $1 for at that garage sale where I was with Katy. It's a little bit faded. It is a vintage canvas, like a Harrington type jacket. Polo, Ralph Lauren. No damage. It's a little faded. I think it's been washed a bit. It's like this twill faded, but it's still it's $1. So that's like a $40 or $50 jacket.
It's $1, guys. It's just $1. We like to live like the people who like pick up their stuff like Allison. Well, Allison usually does she's like, I bought this for $25 and I'm selling it for $300.
Yeah. So yes, that is a
good.
Talon zipper on that jacket, Allison. Yeah, the heavy brass Talon zipper. And then the last thing I picked up at that garage sale, I was with Katy. I actually picked up 2 of these, 2 dead stock 90s Spirac jackets, Thinsulate. I'm gonna hit you. So Thinsulate, when something is labeled as Thinsulate, that was a real big deal in the 90s. So they don't necessarily advertise that these days. So that's how you can tell. But it's dead stock. It has the tags on it, and it's a heavyweight winter jacket. Winter Spirac Paca, if you will.
I would like to say that I did scout those, and I told her you need to get these jackets. I don't know why I didn't grab them for myself, but I was like,
I was literally standing at the same rack as you when you said you scouted them.
No, I'd already gone through them, and I'd already gone through them like probably 5 minutes earlier. So there.
So yeah, so I paid $5 a piece. I got 2 of them. They're both extra large. They're both dead stock. Those will go for probably about $125 to $150 each. So I had a really good week of sourcing. I have, and I have a bunch more that I didn't show, but that was kind of the highlights of what I picked up this week. I see there Vasquez Vintage. The girls are in the house. Thank you for the anniversary. Congratulations. But we're not married yet. What I posted on Instagram was I proposed to her 2 years ago. Yeah. So we've been enfianced for 2 years.
She wanted to lock me down quick and then drag it out. That was our plan. So,
so she says we'll always say it like that at first store. We find it now.
You got to do the karate chop with it though. That's really the key to following through with that pronunciation announcement of that. So
yeah, I will lock her down. I will. We ended up putting,
you already locked her
well,
down.
I did. Yeah. So we've been engaged for 2 years, which is really ridiculous at our age. You don't need a really long engagement, but yeah, we were supposed to get married last October, and we had to put that off. So it'll happen.
She came to Oregon. She got a U-Haul. She packed up my stuff. Made me get rid of all of my household goods. So pretty much all I had was my clothing. Brought me to Vegas. Brought me to Vegas. Okay. Then made me sell my car. Okay. So now.
Next, all I have to do is hobble her, and then she will leave the house.
I pretty much have no options, guys. So yeah, it's
apparently
some lockdown. Anyway, all right. So
no U-Haul jokes. Yeah.
Anyway, thank you guys so much. That's everything that we have for this week. I'm definitely going to be going on probably on Tuesday to get my my shopping on over yesterday's fits and pick up some awesome stuff. And I'm really looking forward to going on a little sourcing trip with you. I think it's going to be fun. We haven't done like a good big sourcing trip. We're going to an area that I've never been to before. You have, but there's hopefully going to be a lot of thrifting opportunities. We're doing that in a couple of weeks, so be on the lookout for some videos around that. But I
just want to address a couple before you sign off, since you can talk and talk and talk. But I wanted to address a couple of things in the chat just because I think they're pretty funny. Okay. So how did we meet? Tommy in Seattle asked, how did you two meet? We met at eBay Open in 2017. So that's a story that's been told a few times. But if you're new to our channel, that was how we met.
She has a thing for mohawks. So
oh, good Lord, please don't ever do that again.
She has a thing for mohawks and
I appreciate that Paula Hafner got my hobbling reference to Stephen King's Misery. So thank you, Paula. I appreciate that. My East Coast woman there.
Grandma Cheap, how are the Saturdays off going? Oh, swimmingly.
So we worked yesterday.
Yeah, we did.
So that's how they're going. But we should be back in the swing of things now going forward. I've been gone, so it was part of wanting to get work done before I was leaving, and then I came back, had to catch up. So we're
tough, but we're still we go out and do stuff. We went out Friday night date night. She had her thing last night. And I mean, we're going to be going on a road trip, weekend after next. So it's like, that's not going to be technically be day off, but all we're going to be doing is sourcing, which is really just fun. So I don't know. It's fine. It's fine.
It's fine.
It's fine. Whatever.
Part of me expanding, and we'll talk about this on Wednesday, part of me expanding and taking on a new employee is to help free me up to be able to do more stuff that I haven't been able to do because I've been focused so much on working. It's not going to merely, it's going to help me scale up, and I'll still be working, but I think I'll have a little bit more flexibility this way.
Yeah. What I've found is that with what I've done to kind of cut down some of my workload, which, to be used in other aspects of my business, is that Victoria says, oh, now that you have more time, can you do X, Y, and Z?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So. Like build the new patio furniture.
Yeah. Can you,
how about you go put the new grill together?
Yeah. So that apparently is how that's working out. Anyway, so yeah, Wednesday show.
Dana says she's filing for unemployment because Dana was my assistant first, and then I trained her so well that she is a self-sufficient businesswoman of her own right now, and no longer wants to work a lot of hours, which I can't blame her because she doesn't need to. So therefore, I had to hire somebody that wants to work more hours for less money. So sorry, Dana. I'm sorry. I need to expand and continue my business.
She's not sorry. Anyway, real quick before we get going here, Wednesday show, 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. We are going to be talking about scaling up, different ways of scaling up your business. Not necessarily us telling you how you should do it, but kind of what we are doing, what we're in the process of doing with our respective businesses, because we have separate businesses. So you might want to join us for that show if you're looking at maybe trying to scale up your business and you're not really sure how you want to tackle it. You can at least follow us along on our journey, but yeah, that's pretty much it.
We can talk a little bit about the steps that we've taken. We both have successful or fairly successful businesses individually. And you get to a certain point where you're maxed out on what you can do as a one-person operation. So you definitely do need to scale up if you want to scale up. Not everybody wants to. Some people are very happy and content being at the level that they're at, and there's nothing wrong with that. But we're always looking to grow and expand. And for some people, that means hiring help. Some people, that means outsourcing. For some people, that means getting onto other platforms. And some people, that means getting into wholesaling or retail arbitrage or things like that. And that is something that neither one of us have interest in. Not that we don't have the ability or capability or the knowledge to do so. We certainly do, but we don't find it interesting enough to want to go there. So
pretty much. All right, guys, we're going to go. We'll talk to you later. Go enjoy the rest of your weekends, take a nap, do some more work, whatever it is you're going to do.
Go put the grill together.
Maybe I'll think about it. All right. We will talk to you guys later. Thank you for coming and hanging out with us. We appreciate it, and we will see you later.
All right. See ya. Bye.
Bye.